Hi everyone, this is George from cgartifacts.com, and in this video I will show you the functionality of the geographically correct sun system and how you can migrate the necessary content to your project. In my case, this will be a blank project. Everything that you want to import, because we'll start with the import and then I will show the functionality. Everything you want to import is in this folder named BP. You will have this project as a sample project that you can download, um, so it's easier to migrate the content. So you just right click on the folder and choose migrate. Everything that's required to be imported will be highlighted here, and you can see these are far fewer elements than previously needed. And I'm navigating to the content folder of my blank test project and just hit OK. So this completes the migration. Okay, so now that we have all the content in place, we need to import just one blueprint into the scene directly. This is the sun controller blueprint, same as before. And this time around, you don't need to worry about the sky sphere. You only need to select the sunlight, that the light source that you want to use as sunlight. Okay, and this will automatically link the current sun. You can see it here moving with the blueprint and the sky and everything. The only thing you have to remember is that you have to have the sun set to movable. It will typically in a new project be stationary, and you might have it static. Just make sure it's movable, uh, because it will be animated during gameplay. Okay, so I will just load the mesh here so that we can preview some of the shadows we get. Okay, so we know where the sun is based on the shadows, and I will also set these to movable so I don't have that warning there to tell me that I have unbaked lighting. A new feature of the geographically correct sun system is the UI, and I will show in a minute how this works. And basically it gives you control over the most important parameters you have here during playtime, and you also get a reading on some of the most important information. Now the UI is made out of this time HUD widget, which is basically a set of animations of slide in and out, and you have a bunch of parameters here and the readings I was telling you about. But to enable this, you need to access the level blueprint and just copy and paste a small piece of code. The code you'll find in a TXT file that comes with this package, but also with you can find it in the level blueprint of the sample project. So it's only this folder right here. So I'll just Control C from the template project to my project and Control V, and it will instantly snap here. And what I need to do next is make this pressed variable available as a float, and just type pressed, hit compile, and everything should be good to go. You can look over the script. It's very basic. It just checks if you've pressed O or not, because it toggles on and off the UMG component, which it's adding it to the viewport, runs the animation, and shows the cursor, and that's about it. Okay, so I will just close this and hit play. I will actually full screen and hit play. Okay, so I have this basic controller on this basic project, but when I hit O, I can see the sliders, okay, which I can interact with, change the hour to whatever I want, and most importantly I can control the speed multiplier. this multiplies the seconds, from 0, which is a full stop, up to 5,000. And I can preview the parameters changing in real time. If I can force a specific hour, and whenever I move the hour slider, the sun will update its position and it will snap to that hour. Otherwise, if I change the day, it will just adjust its trajectory. Okay. So this is why I was saying about the production of an analemma, which is a static sun under a long periods of time. You can just simulate it using the month slider, okay, and see how the sun will look at 10 o'clock in different time periods, okay. And that's just about it. Now I want to give you a few tips on how to use this on your actual project, which will definitely be more complex than this one. And the first tip is mind the daylight saving. And notice that there's a tooltip telling you this is in minutes. So keep this in mind when you get a reading that's different from what you might expect in terms of azimuth and elevation. It might be the daylight saving that's not turned on. Then do notice that do know that the latitude and longitude and UTC have to be manually correlated. So you may, if you are checking this against Revit, for instance, type in the latitude and longitude, and don't forget the UTC of the country that you're simulating this, so that you get accurate readings. Now, if we open the blueprint responsible for all of this, the sun controller blueprint, you can see the script is pretty long, but it's well structured. So you see here the link with the HUD are all these yellow comment groups. So if you have a different HUD system, know where these inputs are being set. Okay. So for instance, whenever I'm moving the slider, I'm calling this change month event, and this will update the month value, and the same for the speed and the hour. Okay, so it's all here. And probably more important is where you set up the SkySphere blueprint. So I'm doing a call on all actors of class BP SkySphere. If you have a custom SkySphere, or you maybe renamed it and resaved it, or whatever you did, just update it here, and that should take care of it. As long as your blueprint has a reference to, has this component of updating sun direction, right? So this is a function inside the BP SkySphere that controls the sun positioning in the sky. So if you have a wildly different SkySphere, you will need to make some adjustments here to reference the changes to the direct light, to whatever way you're calling your direct light in your SkySphere. Okay, so that's about it. You also have the construction script, which is a bit simpler, and otherwise the entire functionality is pretty self-explanatory. And you also have all these tooltips here telling you what each item does. And I also introduced this toggle option of turning off the sun when night. So after a certain elevation, which you can see here, like 5 degrees, this will set the sun intensity to 0 and then set it back to whichever it was. So again, if you have some more controls about your light intensity, know that you have this set up here. This is in the turn off sun comment group. Okay, that's about it. If you have any questions or any difficulties in setting this up in your project, do not hesitate to contact me on the contact information that you have attached to the package. Thank you.